Everybody, this is Sean V. Bradley, president of Dealer Synergy and the creator of the Millionaire Car Salesman Network. And man, it's rough out there in them streets. I've been literally dealing with dealers and automotive professionals all over the United States. I just came off tours in New Orleans for a couple of days, and I was in North Carolina for a couple of days, then I was in Kentucky for a couple of days, and I was in Atlanta for a couple of days, and now I'm back. I'm actually working from the home studio today, and man, the pulse that I'm getting is that there's a lot of stress in 2025. It's all over the Millionaire Car Salesman Facebook group. People are saying, hey, we're having the worst month ever. We're having the worst quarter ever. No, it's not ever. It's just been, you got to understand, folks, that for the last 3-4 years, because of the pandemic and post-pandemic, a lot of dealers have been really lucky to sell cars at list or over list. And if you had cars, you could sell them. You didn't really have to have any sophistication. You didn't really have to do much. All you had to do was just be alive. Well, those days are over. Here's the fact that manufacturers are putting incentives. There's OEM spins again. And then because the manufacturers put in rebates, incentives, and some domestics are putting $7,000, $8,000 in incentives, dealerships are freaking out and they are now rushing to the bottom. What they're doing is they're discounting cars, they're giving cars away. I know some dealers are going into half a holdback. I have an idea. I want to try to ask the expert out there, the number one car salesman in the world. Okay, this guy sold 1,432 units in 2024. The year before, in 2023, he sold 1,408 units. And of course, I'm talking about my man, Cody Carter. So when we come back from break, we got to pay them bills. We're going to have Cody come back and tell us exactly how he's dealing with 2025 and how he's able to weather the storm. Now, for all you naysayers and, hecklers out there, Toyota manufactures my client. I've worked with the Boston region. I'm currently on my second year of the Chicago region, and they just now added the Portland region to my repertoire. So I'm working with Toyota at a very high level, and Toyota corporate has verified that Cody Carter is legitimately what he says he is, the number one car salesman in the world. And man, 1,432 units in 2024. When we get back from break, I got to pay some bills. We'll talk to Cody and see what he's got to say and how he can help us navigate.
This episode is brought to you by Podium. Here's a question. How much would your business change if you had one more employee who worked 24/7 to turn every lead, including the ones that come in after hours, into test drives, sales, and more money for your dealership? Meet Jerry, Podium's new AI BDC. Jerry is a lead conversion powerhouse designed to respond instantly to every incoming lead to answer questions accurately, keep leads warm, and schedule test drives, all without direct human supervision. And the best part? With a seamless handoff to staff on the sales floor, customers will never know they were interacting with an AI to begin with. See how Podium's AI BDC can help you sell more cars by visiting podium.com/MCS. That's podium.com/MCS, or click on the link in the show notes below. Introducing Dealer Synergy's brand new 55,000 square foot outsourced BDC. Over 2,000 highly skilled agents are not just making and taking calls, they're transforming customer engagements. Our agents are specially trained by Dealer Synergy, a name trusted in automotive sales training for over 20 years. With access to decades of proven methods, they're equipped with the skills and confidence to handle every customer interaction. Combining Dealer Synergy's advanced training with the cost efficiency of a Belize-based team, our BDC helps you grow your business and maximize every opportunity. The native language in Belize is English, so no customer will be affected by agitating language barriers. Through Dealer Synergy's industry-leading training, these agents are primed to deliver results that boost your dealership's bottom line. Our goal: keep your showroom full, your customers engaged, and your reputation shining. Dealer Synergy's BDC is your partner in elevating customer satisfaction and bringing in a steady stream of ready-to-buy visitors. Contact Dealer Synergy to get more information to sign up today.
And we're back. This is SVB, and the place to be is the Millionaire Car Salesman podcast. And as I said in the opening here, is that it's hard in them streets right now. It's hard for a salesperson to get an up. It's hard to gross out there. It's hard to pay that, that mortgage and all that lifestyle we've been accustomed to because, man, there's craziness in there. Again, whatever political party you have is irrelevant. The reality is that there's tariffs going on. There's legislation going on. There's, a lot of uncertainty with the economy and with the global stuff. So, people are struggling. So I figured, instead of just talking about it, let's go to see who is the absolute best and how they're dealing with it. So Cody, welcome back to the show, brother. How you been?
Good. It's been a while since we've talked, so it's exciting. I'm excited.
All right. Well, first of all, I wanted to say congratulations. You broke 1,432 units, up from the year before in 2023 at 1,408. So just question, how do you feel that you keep growing and you keep beating your own record, man? That's crazy.
I wish it was going to be more. Obviously, I don't think that you'll ever be happy. But even at the end of the year, I was a little nervous. I wasn't going to hit the prior year, but at the end, the deals just came out everywhere. The last minute rush. So it's great. I'm still chasing that 200 car month, but I haven't got there yet.
You will. You absolutely will. But what's crazy is you sold 1,432 units in the middle of chaos. I mean, right before, the new president took over with Trump, but before all these tariffs and all this other stuff, when there's uncertainty. So let's jump into it. Are you hearing at your dealership and from your automotive colleagues across the country the same thing that I just said, that there's chaos right now in them streets at the dealerships? People are struggling to sell cars. Are you hearing that, or are you just living in Smurf Village?
I hear a lot of it, because people reach out to me and have questions, and some of my people that I can call my friends, they've said this is the worst I've ever seen. The last 3 months, I can't even really sell a car. And yeah, the political climate is interesting, and we don't know. I get customers messaging me about the tariffs and how that will affect things, and we really don't know yet. And that's kind of the scary part for a lot of people. But yeah, it's been tough.
So that's the first question, is that about these tariffs. There's a lot of uncertainty about it all around the industry, like you just said. Are they impacting pricing and inventory for you at your dealership right now? Are you affected at all by these tariffs?
So we're not affected right now as of this moment. We produce very few cars in those countries. So for Canada, we do some of the RAV4, but there's also production in the US and in Japan for that car. The biggest unknown would be Tacoma, which is 100% built in Mexico. And so that could be a potential scare. The Tacoma prices that we are already told are very high, so 25% would be shocking.
So now, especially because of who you are, you're a VIP with, your dealership and with Toyota, corporate, do you have any inside information from management or from the OEM as if there was to be some type of tariff situation that would compromise, pricing or inventory? What's the contingency plan? Does anybody have a plan B or C, D, G, E, F, or Z?
Not as of right now. They've kept a really tight lip. The only thing we can assume when we were looking at RAV4 just last week was I don't follow it super closely, where cars are produced necessarily, and it was kind of a surprise to see that the RAV was being built also in the States. So I feel like that's something that they're switching to. They're building it in the plant with the Highlander, or I believe it's the Camry, excuse me. So between the two, we're going to be fine.
Yeah, the other thing is, first of all, congratulations. For the people that don't know, the RAV4 is now officially the number one selling car in the United States. It finally dethroned the F-150 that held that position for 47 straight years. So I can't imagine that the manufacturer that knows that they are in possession of the goose that laid the golden egg. They're the number one selling product in the entire United States of America. They've got to be able to shift gears and figure out a way that they could circumvent these tariffs. Wouldn't you think so? Why would they blow through that opportunity?
I'm personally not super concerned about it.
For the doomsdayers and the apocalyptic, freakers out there, let's just say that, oh, snap, I'm just going to I want you to freestyle an answer. Let's say your ass is cooked, you're screwed with the RAV4 and the Tacoma, two amazingly hot sellers. How do you handle it? How does a guy that sold 1,432 units, almost 99% of them were new cars in 2024, how would you handle if the tariffs did in fact affect you? What would you do?
The nice thing with Toyota being a full brand, there's other models we can switch to. Affordability would be totally different at that point. Some of these higher MSRP cars like Highlander and Grand Highlander would be the switch. The only struggle would be the production on those cars is very low right now. So we're going to find different alternatives. always. But luckily Toyota being such a wide brand, I have a lot of different options. Some brands that don't have a lot of trucks or a lot of different SUVs, that they're going to struggle more. But Toyota, we have some flexibility. I think that's the lenders that I have. I'd still be price competitive over everyone else.
Well, let me tell you this too. That's true, but don't forget though, you can have RAV4 pre-owns, or you could have Tacoma pre-owns, which could circumnavigate the tariff as an issue. And I'm gonna give you an example. And again, I'm not sure what the rules are from the manufacturer. I'm just telling you what we did back in the day. I'll never forget, man. I worked for Mazda, Lincoln Mercury Mazda at Weissleiter back in the day. I've told this story before a million times. And this was when the Mazda Tributes, which was the competitor of the RAV4, was smoking hot. And our dealer, ironically, got them from Canada. So we would buy brand new Mazda Tributes, like a ton of them. But because we had to change the, odometer reading from, the metric system to our system, et cetera, we had to title them as used cars. Even though they had 0 miles or 2 miles on them, they were brand new, we were able to sell them. And customers, some of them did not care. They just wanted a brand new, Tribute, and they understood what we were doing, that we were getting them from out of the country, and they were just going to have to be used cars. So is it possible? I'm just curious. Again, obviously, I don't know what the Toyota rules are or the United States government rules, but isn't it possible that a smart dealer could turn around and buy a bunch of RAV4s from another country, bring them into the United States as, a used vehicle and sell them that way?
We might have some hard times. Like Toyota's pretty tough on
They are tough? Okay, that's why I'm asking.
The importing and the exporting of these cars. Like you get yourself on a list and it's not good.
Okay, so good. So I'm glad we're talking about this because, again, I haven't sold cars in years. You know what I mean? I'm a trainer and consultant now. So explain that, because somebody else has got a dumbass idea like I just had. You want to warn them against them. So tell them what not to do.
We normally see it in reverse, right? Where people are trying to take the cars out of the country to another country, or even similarly Hawaii, right? So like if a customer, because I'm in California, I'm the closest to Hawaii, you get a call and they'll say, hey, I want to ship this car to Hawaii. We're like, no, absolutely not. Like we end up on a list with Toyota and lose allocation because we do something like that. So we stay far away from that.
I don't know whose notifications are yours or mine that are blowing up, but it's okay.
I try to mute them somehow, but let me.
So that's going to happen a lot, folks, because we got Cody Carter, the number one salesperson in the world, is here, and he's getting blown up.
Yeah, I got it on Do Not Disturb, but unfortunately, when the boss texts me, he gets through the Do Not Disturb. So
no doubt.
But I apologize. But yeah, so we see that in reverse typically, and it's crazy to explain to people like that the way that Toyota sees the country, the continental United States is one market, but then you have Alaska and Hawaii, they're completely separate markets, and we're not to disrupt those markets. And so you can't sell a car to somebody within those markets. They're excluded from our franchise agreement.
Okay, good. So the lesson here is this: you can get creative, but you need to understand the rules of engagement for your manufacturer, because you never ever, especially me, like I work for Toyota, so I want to give anybody bad advice. That's why I'm asking the Toyota expert here. And you said what I thought you were going to say is like, listen, you've got to be careful, because you yourself have gotten tied up with stupid stuff with the manufacturer because of dealers hating on you and, complaining about your website success, which we'll get into a little bit later on the show. But the lesson here is this, is that if you've got a creative idea, before you pull the trigger and put yourself or your dealership in a situation that could really kind of hurt them, whether it's allocation or it's co-op money or it's just a black mark, it's not worth it. Just seek to understand what the rules of engagement are and follow the rules. Would you agree, Cody?
Yeah, 100%. Something that is interesting, kind of like what you talked about, like the moving of inventory around. There's a lot of companies out there that are kind of doing that, but within the United States, right? So like they're buying cars at X price from a dealer that struggles to sell, say RAV4 in their market, and they're shifting the cars around. So you'll see a lot of dealers, a lot of times with, 10 Tacomas with 5 miles on them at a Nissan dealership, right? And you'll see that kind of stuff. There's still markets to buy cars and shift them around. So that's something that they could potentially look into. Okay,
so now this is a question. This is from our members in the Millionaire Car Salesman group. So they're saying, Cody, with rising costs, how do you keep deals attractive for customers while maintaining your margin? So again, the pricing metrics has changed. Everything's more expensive, but now it's harder to maintain gross because there's so much competition, rebates, incentives, dealers discounting. How are you personally able to maintain profit margin?
So it depends. Like we're a high volume dealer, so there's going to be cars that we take the loss and just move on. But I have all these different lenders, and the other thing we're doing is stretching terms just slightly. As much as you hate to see that, keep in mind I'm primarily lease at least 80%. We try to get them into, like right now we're doing 39-month leases, tons of them, because that's creative. And one of our lenders right now is doing a rate or a residual match. They're giving me the same residual at 39 months that I would be at 36 to help offset some of that payment, saves them $30 a month. But that also allows me to potentially make the payment attractive and make more gross profit. This month, and I was joking, for a normal sales guy, this would be awesome. Like we're having the units are way down this month for me personally, but the gross is probably 8x what it normally is, right? So it's a great problem to have, and a lot of it contributed to some of these lenders. Ally, for example, they're giving me $1,000 rebate on every single car that you send to them. So there's creative ideas out there.
And I'm going to tell you this, that having the proper CRM, and shout out to NCC ProMax. They're one of the best, the National Credit Center. And Cody, I'm telling you, it's one of the absolute best CRMs that I've seen out there, especially for someone like you, what you're talking about, because, they have all the data from the National Credit Center that's ingrained already within the CRM. So anytime, there are rebates or, incentives or changes, it's so easy to set up your CRM to be able to shortcut. So for example, let's say you weren't able to close a deal because you were, 2Gs apart or something like that. There's a shortcuts that you could, have within the NCC ProMax where you press the button to literally, if the new incentives change and there's a $2,000 rebate or whatever it is, you could go to press a button, boom, and it gives you a manifest list of everybody that you let out the door 2Gs apart. So now you have a short list to call, hot prospects. And there's a bunch of things like that. So I'm loving what I'm hearing, but I have a question for you because you're a superstar. We already acknowledged you're the number one car salesman in the world. What about the regular old people? What about the people that are just trying to sell cars, and they're struggling? What advice do you have to them? What can you tell them on what they should do to adapt? Because they don't have your machine. They don't have your clientele base. They're averaging 9, 10, 12, 15 cars a month. And if they're struggling, somebody's not, paying their mortgage, or they're not able to go out on a daddy-daughter date, or they can't, go, take their kid to a wrestling match or whatever it is. So what advice do you have for us mere mortals out here in them streets?
Yeah. It's interesting. I went to dinner with just a new couple the other day, and I was talking about what I do, and he was looking for something new. And I was explaining like, hey, they're in the dealership world, there is so much money to be made, and it's just left laying there, right? So when people say I'm not making any money, you're spending it in the wrong spots, right? So like give him an example. Like if I had any extra free time, which I don't, but if I did, where I would be is I'd be in the service department, and we have, on a Saturday, we'll have 200 cars come through, right? And I would just greet every single person out there. Hey, we got snacks, we got a Subway inside, like here's a voucher. And by the way, I'm just gonna look at your car while we're here and give you an offer for it. And the thing is that our volume, I could literally just cherry pick all the 10 grand deals, right? Because there's plenty of $10,000 deals that are driving through the service drive that no one talks to. At our store, there's not a single salesperson that works the service drive. Right?
How many cars does your dealership sell? Because you sold 1,432 last year, but how many units does your whole store do on a monthly basis?
We do 600 to 800 a month, somewhere in between.
Okay, so you work at Tustin Toyota in California, and you sell 600 to 800 units a month, and you just said nobody works the service drive. That blows my mind, because I want to give the audience two trainer bits of information. Trainer bit number one, NADA says that a service customer is 7 times as likely to purchase a vehicle from where they service their car from. So you got to understand, if somebody's already servicing at your organization, they've won that customer's business and trust to some degree because they're already servicing there. So it increases the probability of selling that vehicle. That's the first thing. Second thing, though, Cody, and I think it's also really important, is that there are a tremendous amount of service ROs that have never purchased a car. So there are people in every dealership service department that services their car, but they might have never purchased a vehicle there before. Would you agree?
Yeah, 100%. And I just want to clarify too, on the part of no one works the service drive, I'm like, at least to my knowledge, right? Because I'm in this back room here. But there's so much, we have a software, if we wanted to, that I could see who's going to be in the service drive tomorrow, right? And those, you could prepare yourself and cherry pick whatever deals, and eventually you're going to go to the lower tier, deals, but there's so many deals to be made. You'll be busy forever.
And here's the problem is that, here's the reality, and then here's the problem. The reality is that a lot of managers, a lot of owners tell their salespeople, work the service drive, work the service drive. I've been doing this for 26 plus years at a very high level on the showroom floor. I didn't sell what you sold, but I averaged 33 units a month. You heard my top month was 37 units. And I crushed it when I sold cars in New Jersey at a Lincoln Mercury Mazda dealership. And I heard my manager back then saying, work the service drive. I too never worked the service drive. You know why? Because I didn't know how to work the service drive. I didn't know what to say. I didn't know what to do. So here's the cool solution here. Cody has his own platform called Sell Like Cody within the Bradley On Demand platform. Cody can talk to you all about how to work the service drive, what to say when you up people in the service drive, how to find those $10,000 deals. Then on top of that, on top of Cody through Sell Like Cody on Bradley On Demand, it is the industry's #1 24/7 video on demand training, tracking, testing, certification program. And this is one of the things that we specialize in, is telling you how to sell cars, leveraging the service department. So Cody, another question I have from our audience before we take our next break is this. Can you share with me, has any of the financial situation, whether it's the high interest rates or the excessive, craziness in the politics, is there anything that the manufacturer is giving you to help you offset, whether that's dealer cash, customer cash, rebates or incentives? Is there anything that you're able to utilize from the OEM to offset, customers' financial stress or their objections?
Yeah, we're seeing it a little bit here and there, depending. Toyota is very good about following the inventory levels of every model, right? So when Tacomas started piling up a little bit due to pricing, at least I believe it's the pricing, they came out with special money factors to help make these leases attractive, and that seemed to move them out the door pretty quickly. We're seeing Tundra with a $3,000 rebate in our region, and being with Toyota for almost 13, or like a little over 13 years now, the $3,000 is the biggest rebate I've seen on a Tundra ever, and we're back to that point again. So. I'm like, they are doing their best to move them, and it's been pretty successful. But I wouldn't say they're not telling us, hey, because of the tariffs, we're going to give you X, Y, or Z. But Toyota doesn't want dealers to sit on cars. We're not one of those manufacturers that does that, and so they're very good about adapting on the fly.
All right, and folks, it's that time. We're going to pay some bills. We'll be right back.
Dealers, are you ready to elevate your success and dominate 2025? Then it's time to check out NCC's Complete CRM, the all-in-one solution built for dealerships like yours. Whether you're an independent, franchise, or dealer group, this platform has been specifically designed to fit your unique needs. For over 30 years, NCC has been leading the way in innovative dealership solutions with built-in tools like soft pull, data mining, inventory, desking, compliance, and call tracking. Complete CRM also seamlessly integrates with your other chosen systems to help you maximize every opportunity, all while focusing on what really powers your sales: credit-driven retailing. Complete CRM specializes in turning credit insights into more profitable deals. So don't just manage your dealership in 2025, transform it. Visit nccdirect.com today to schedule a demo and see how Complete CRM can revolutionize your business. That's nccdirect.com, the smarter way to sell.
This has been the most in-depth training I've had in my lot of years in the car business.
We went from 60 cars to 156 cars a month in 3 months.
NAMAD, the entire Toyota Chicago region, as well as the top automotive groups like Koons, Lithia, and Norm Reeves have all used Bradley On Demand to train their team.
There's the most comprehensive training company I've seen, and they by far have the best support system.
Doing 50 cars a month, topped out at 80. I can tell you that the Bradley On Demand training will get you to the next level.
And guess what? The world's #1 car salesman, Cody Carter, shares his exclusive strategies right here. You want his secrets? You gotta have Bradley On Demand. If you're still not enrolled in Bradley On Demand, you're missing out on the best virtual automotive training in the world. Enroll now or contact us for a free test drive of the platform today.
Hey everybody, this is Sean V. Bradley, the creator of the Millionaire Car Salesman podcast, and I am sitting with a multi-millionaire car salesman. See how that works? The Millionaire Car Salesman podcast, and we got an actual multi-millionaire car salesman here, Mr. Cody Carter. Cody, what's up, brother?
Hey, it's great to see you. I'm glad to be here. It's been a while.
Well, it's been 2 minutes since our break. I just talked to you. I'm just messing with you, Cody. So listen, brother, I want to just kind of help. The theme of this episode is all the craziness in 2025. It's not even the end of the first quarter. We're in it right now, right? But there's massive amount of stress and angst, and gross is down, volume is down, all this is down. And we were talking about the tariffs. Okay, we talked about that. Next is EVs. Oh my gosh, there has been, with the new regime, with the Trump administration, they're trying to unwind a lot of the craziness that the Biden administration put in as it relates to all the EVs and electric vehicles, because there's been chaos, brother. We talked about this before, when I was in California, there was chaos because it was so expensive for these dealerships to equip. Matter of fact, Buick bought back dealerships. They said, hey, you have to do all this stuff. You don't want to do it, just sell me your store. So what I think is pretty fucked up is that after all the chaos, all the legislation, all the forced gun to the head of dealerships, all these dealerships that gave up their points. And now it's like, yeah, that was pretty stupid, forcing people to do all this fully electric stuff. We're going to go backwards. My question is that you are in the most liberal state in the country, in my opinion, and most hybrid, hydrogen, interesting concepts. How is this changed with losing the electric, tax credits and, all the changes in EVs? How's that affecting you and the Toyota Priuses and all the other hybrids you guys get?
So we haven't really seen too much of anything, because I know they haven't passed any of that. And I'm actually surprised. Coming January, we were telling customers hey, I know your car's reserved, but this big rebate might not be here by the time that the car arrives. And of course, our governor had stepped in and said, well, if the president decides to get rid of it, we're gonna cover it. I don't know how he's gonna cover it, but that was the
you don't have taxes, baby. He's gonna tax you. You're gonna pay for it.
We already pay a little bit, but they said that they're gonna cover that same rebate, which is good. But at the same time, as the American people, we don't want to front the bill forever. But it's EV market. It's crazy. Even before the new presidency, the market on EV was just crashing, right? And we're seeing it everywhere. I saw it in my trade value on even one of my personal electric cars. But that's just pushes us to the leasing option of these cars to protect our customers. And right now, for example, we only have one electric car, which is the BZ, fully electric. And the rebate's $10,000. The 24s that we had just a couple months ago had $18,000 rebates. And so they're doing their best to push these out.
So what would you say for sales professionals that are struggling with EVs? Let's say they've got EVs and people don't want them. So can you give us, because you're from California or you're based in California, and you're like the hybrid electric capital, you know what I mean? So what advice do you have for somebody that's struggling with selling EVs or selling the value of EVs, whether the hybrid or full electric?
You got to get on board with the whole leasing thing. I know there's stores across the country that to this day still don't care to do leasing, right? If you don't lease them and you're trying to force people to buy them, you're going to be sitting on them forever, right? You got to embrace the fact that there's huge lease cash out there, or you got to get creative and show these customers, which we do on some of our plug-in hybrids. Hey, lease it today, capture the rebate, and on the first payment, buy it out, and then you save money because you're capturing this extra rebate, which allows them to still buy the car affordably, right, and not put themselves in a really bad position. So that there's some creativity there. That we're
so wait a minute. Let's break that down, because that is pretty damn savvy. I would actually use that same tactic, by the way. So explain to our audience, like for Toyotas. Okay, so if you were going to finance that BZ, the full electric vehicle, there's no incentives. Am I correct?
So the BZ is a little bit different, and it does have some incentive, and you got to weigh in what's more important to you. Like for the purchase, we offered 0% for 72 months and $2,500 rebate. But we also, if you go to switch to the lease side, if you were looking at a 24, we had an $18,000 rebate at the time. So you got to weigh in your options of which is more.
Wait a minute, an $18,000 rebate, right? On a lease.
On a lease, yeah.
Okay, and so now, okay, in your professional opinion, because you're the leasing king of our industry, what it sounds like you would advise towards the lease with that $18,000?
I think the biggest thing on these fully electric cars, different from the plug-ins, right, is we know now that the resale value is nothing on these cars, right? Yeah. And it's sad, but that's just the truth. And so if you were to lease one, and the payments are very attractive, some of these, like one point, the BZ was listed at $179 a month. So for $179 a month and guarantee yourself that there's no negative equity and that you could walk away is the best option versus someone comes in and they're like, hey, I'm $15,000 flipped. And, and we hear this a lot where they're saying, hey, your negative equity customers, put them in these EVs because of the big rebates. That does solve the immediate problem. But for me personally, I'm like, you just push the negative equity down the line. But luckily it's a lease and that you'll be out in 3 years. But the problem is a lot of these people that are super flipped, they have a bad habit of trading very often. So.
Yes. Okay. And again, this is where you need to understand your programs. And what Cody was saying is completely true. As a national trainer, I've got clients all over the United States and overseas, technically, as an international trainer. But the reality is that for whatever crazy reason, I find down south, they hate leasing. And they make the excuse, we talked about it a bunch of times, that, that people don't want to lease down here. No, it's not that I don't want to lease. It's just that you're not selling them on leasing, which is kind of unfortunate. Now, Cody, you're talking about the fully electric. Let's say the hybrids. What is the most popular hybrid that you guys sell?
So right now, RAV4 hybrid's super hot. It's difficult to get. And yes.
Let's use the RAV4 hybrid, or do you still have the Priuses?
So we have the Prius, but keep in mind, hybrids don't get any real incentive. But we're yeah.
So let's just say it's a hybrid, right? There is no incentives. What would you recommend, leasing as well?
It's gonna depend, and it's figuring out with your guest, like what's the most important thing. If you're going to keep this car for 10 years, like some of my customers, I'm not going to recommend the lease to you. But there's still great lease deals to be had on these. And we live in an area where gas is high. I don't know what gas prices are there, but where we're at, it's $4.40 a gallon, and that's considered good.
Absolutely.
So these 52 mile per gallon Priuses and high 40s RAVs are awesome. Like, they sell no problem.
I want to switch gears, if that's okay, because one of the reasons why I know, because of our friendship and our partnership for all these years, that you're so successful is that you don't wait for the magic up bust. You have built your own brand. Your website, Retrack Autos, which is cody.tussintoyota.com and all that stuff. You have your own website that generates 300 plus leads a month, actual leads. You have tons of referrals coming through. You are a master of digital marketing, man. I mean, leveraging all these Facebook groups, your website, all of these affiliate programs that you're part of, and then this digital retailing stuff. I got a question for you though. Have you dove into AI? Because I want to just let you, we talked about this before, Podium is the industry's leading Leviathan when it comes to artificial intelligence and conversational AI. So I just want to ask, have you engaged yet your system with conversational AI, not bot technology, but actual full-blown conversational AI?
Not yet. I've watched a lot of it, and I think it's super cool. And the biggest thing is the loopholes of making, or like us jumping through to get it through corporate and things like that, which I'm sure those days will come soon. The one part you missed on my marketing mastership is it's free, right? I'm like, I spend no money on marketing, right? And so it shows people like you don't have to spend all this money.
Well, what I'm going to do right here is I'm going to reach out to the executives at Podium, and I'm going to basically be like, look, this is Michael Jordan. You need to get him some Nike sneakers. Because from what I'm understanding, because I literally just did a major webinar yesterday for Toyota, and we had 360, paid registrations to the webinar. I was doing it on behalf of Toyota. I was the instructor. You've been on them before. And we talked about CRM, and we talked about the value of AI. And Toyota's advice was, listen, if you're going to use AI, make sure that it's OEM compliant and it's vetted. And from my understanding, I don't know if Podium has finished it. It's either now fully endorsed or it's about to be, fully co-opted or endorsed by Toyota OEM. So if it is, you're a Toyota freaking, guru. If Podium is authorized and sanctioned through, Toyota OEM, I'm thinking, brother, like if you want to break 200 units in a month, I'm telling you, you've got your assistant, which is Hannah. She's amazing. And you still only have one, right?
Still have one.
All right. So you basically, you're not an octopus yet. You've got your two hands and you got her two hands. So you've got four hands, metaphorically speaking, but with conversational AI that you can integrate into your website, into your chat, into your online reputation. It could follow up. It's like omnipresent. So I'm going to try to hook you guys up. And again, maybe you could turn around and get them to hook you up because you're Cody Carter. But I'm telling you, having all that you do manually with just one assistant is mind blowing. So can you imagine if you had an omnipresent artificial intelligence? You know what I mean?
I mean, yeah, I've thought about it many a times.
Why? Then what's holding you back? What? Like, bro, if I were you, I would be throwing my weight around like I'm Cody Carter, son. You know what I mean? You need to give me some AI because this shit works. You know how many people would buy their AI if you're the one evangelizing it? Got to work, man. Look, if this trainer thing doesn't work, I need to be your Jerry Maguire because I'm going to show you the money.
Yeah, there's so many things I want to touch into it, but it's always the time, right? Where's the time between selling 100 something plus cars a month and trying to take care of my 3 kids? So,
right, so on air, I'm going to try to do something right now. Watch this. I'm not even exaggerating. I'm going to try to call Misty, who is the executive.
There you go.
Let's see if she answers. If not, I'm going to have to get the producer to edit this part out, but let's just see. Damn, it's ringing too long. That's not a good sign. Griff, we might need to edit this part out, but we're going to try.
Your call has been forwarded to.
When she calls back, which hopefully she does, I'll be able to try to, kind of put you guys together because Cody, look, as my friend, all kidding aside, like I'm just trying to have some fun with you right here. But my brother, you're hitting a point of diminishing return. There's only so many hours or so many things that you can do. And this is the reason why artificial intelligence was invented and designed. It's never going to replace you or Hannah or anything like that, but it's there to maximize your activities. And the most important thing is it's omnipresent. So when you and Hannah are sleeping or it's your day off or your shift off or Hannah's day off or Hannah's shift off, you could work the hell out of, Jerry is his name. You can rename him if you want, but that's what their AI is called. So definitely.
That's pretty cool.
So tell me.
It reminds me even the step when I went to this newest website with the Roadster, right? It did all this hours worth of work for me that I didn't have to do anymore, which is huge. So I can see the same thing with the AI.
No, now you are doing some phenomenal things with digital retailing. So can you tell, it doesn't matter what company you're using, because Toyota loves SmartPath. Correct. And so again, but tell us in your words, what is digital retailing on your website and how does that make your life easier? Because I am still blown away that there's so many salespeople, especially Toyota salespeople, that are not leveraging SmartPath or digital retailing. And it's like taking 30 minutes to cook minute rice. So explain to me why I feel that way.
It's crazy that a lot of people aren't using it. And if I wasn't using the system I had right now, like SmartPath would be huge for me. It's the fact that they don't have to run to the desk all the time. Like everything is on the tablet or the computer that they're using with the guest. And the experience is so much better. Like my guests, most of them don't come in. They use the website directly. And the fact that it's capable of showing them every different term, whatever down that they select, giving them control to buy the car how they want to buy it is huge for both of us, that they feel in control. I don't have to communicate with them as much because of the volume that I'm doing. So it makes it simple. And the fact that they load everything that I need them to load on the website. And then when they click order, it hits us and we just let them know, hey, when do you want to pick it up or when do you want it delivered? That's huge. And I use just like SmartPath. If I do have a guest in store, instead of me, manually typing this is what the structure is going to be, I just turn my computer screen. We're on the website together and we're playing with the terms and they're driving the whole thing. Now,
Cody, what I would say is this is one of your secrets, sincerely, of how the hell you're able to sell 1,432 cars in 1 year. Because again, people, when they hear that, their first reaction, you've seen it all over our own Facebook group with 30,000 people, is like, it's impossible. No, it's impossible the way that you freaking sell cars. If you're waiting for an up to come in, meet and greet them, get a customer worksheet, qualify them, land them on a car, do a product selection, do a features and benefits walk around presentation, and you did a demonstration drive. Then you parked at the service department. You did a service introduction, service walk, and then you went to your desk, and then you parked them, and then you went to get your first pencil. There's no way in hell you'll be able to sell 1,432 cars. From my understanding, one of the major reasons why you're able to sell so many damn cars is because you have your own website, because you have digital retailing on your website. And what I just heard you say, unless you're speaking in Swahili and I misunderstood, is that the vast majority of your people are going through all of that stuff that they would normally do at a dealership before they even get to the dealership. Is that an accurate statement?
Yeah, 100%. It's crazy. Like the way we train normal salespeople versus what I'm doing is completely backwards, right? And so for me, it's, because you're trained, get them in the store, get them in the store, get them in the store. And for me, it's no, I don't want you to come in yet. And the customer's like, oh, really? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, I want you to go to my website, select your car, know exactly what you're going to pay for this car, and submit everything online. And then they're like, oh, wow, this is totally different. I'm like, and by the way, when you come in, I'm going to have you in and out in 30 minutes. And for them, it's like, well, I don't kill a whole day at doing the thing that most people hate almost the most, the second biggest purchase of their life. They can actually enjoy it for once.
So, folks, listen to me. If you want to sell more cars more often, more profitably, you cannot keep doing what everybody else is doing, or you're going to keep getting what everybody else is getting. There's a reason why the average car salesman or average car saleswoman, the average car salesperson sells less than 10 cars. I think if Cody sold 10 cars, he'd go to the top of Tustin Toyota and throw himself off, because how the hell do you go from selling, 162 cars in 1 month to selling 9.6, which is the average one? So if you want to sell more cars, you have to change the experience. Now, Cody, correct me if I'm wrong. You just said that the customers prefer it because they're not wasting all their time and all their day and all the energy going through this. They could do that part from the comfort of their home on their own time. But simultaneously, yes, if that was the only reason why to do it is to make the customers happy so you get more customers and more sales, that's good. But the other reason is if you're not wasting time in the showroom doing all that crap, you can have them do it autonomously, have them do all the work before they even get to the dealership. That gives you more time selling and delivering. Because if you're spending the majority of your time doing product presentations, going the road to the sale, that's why you can only sell X amount of cars. But if you flip that energy and you figure out a way through digital retailing in your own website that you have the ability to spend less time with the minutia that the customers don't like spending time with anyway, it's a win-win. It's a win for the customer. It's a win for you. Can you please hit that part
Yeah,
home?
100%. And one of the lines I always use that jokingly with customers, I'm like, my time is very important. So I'm not going to waste my time, and I'm sure not going to waste yours. Right. I'm like, so let's push it through the process the way that this is going to be the best for you. And sometimes the customers, when they get here, the first thing they say is like, well, how long is this going to take? I'm like, listen, it's going to be 30 minutes. I can't spend hours, of the time with you, because I have lots of customers that are like, oh, that's great. I didn't want to be here for hours. Right. I'm like, it's kind of like a joking, like, hey, my time's really important. So I'm going to respect your time at the same. So, and they really like that. It's kind of funny because it throws them off at first when I say my time's important. They think that's I'm going to be rude. I'm like, no, but that's the reason I respect yours. So, and they're like, oh, okay, cool.
Do me a favor. So when would you say that? When we're on the phone, or like, let's give
it depends. Like, so if we hadn't gone through the conversation of like, hey, by the way, it's going to take 30 minutes when you get here. Like when they arrive and they're like, hey, how's it going? Okay, cool. How much time do you think I'm going to be here? Whether it's they got to pick up their kids from school or whatever they're trying to do that day. And I just joking like, well, we're going to be in and out here 30 minutes. And a lot of times you'll hear like, oh, good. I thought this was going to be hours. And then I'll say something like, oh, if it was hours, you would wreck my schedule. Right. And I'm like, and they're like, what? I was like, I got to get you in and out of here because I'm going to do 7 cars today. And so I want you to be on the road enjoying your car, and then like find something to do with the extra time you thought you were going to lose. Right. So like, what are you going to do now with all this extra time for the day? So, it says today's a Saturday. You're not going to spend the whole day at the car dealer. What are you going to do? And so then they think about it and have fun time. We have fun when we're here.
So now last question on this, and then we're going to start to close out for this episode here. Man, this is phenomenal stuff. Is kind of walk us through the experience on, your website, your personal website. When somebody goes there, they could do everything they could do off of the dealership's website, but it's your website. They have access to full inventory. But explain, like if I just am looking to buy that RAV4, I go to, Cody.tustintoyota.com. What happens when how do I navigate through there?
So when you get there, the first thing you'll see a couple pictures of cars and it says start shopping and, obviously the introductory. But so when they click in there, they'll see all of the inventory, but they all have prices slashed, right? And it says unlock pricing. And so they'll have to unlock the pricing by putting in either a phone number or email address and their contact info, right? So that
boom, stop. That is one of the most brilliant things, folks. That's not normal. I've never seen an OEM, a dealership, or a salesperson force their people to put contact information to be able to access stuff. But they're doing it. He's doing it because of Toyota compliancy reasons. But so that's great. But for him, they generate leads. It generates them, people to follow up on. Cody, can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, so 100%. And we're not here, like my mentality is like, I'm not here to harass you with follow-up, but we will follow up with you to make sure that, information you saw was what you wanted to see, or you didn't realize X, Y, and Z. So once they fully log in, they'll have access to all the pricing. It sorts by the lowest monthly payment, and mine strategically shows lease first. Most dealers, it'll show like a purchase payment or a cash payment. Well, we know most people aren't doing that, right? So it defaults to lease, defaults to the cheapest payment, and then it just lets them drive from there. So like if they went to a RAV4, they could see all the RAV4s that are here or coming. It defaults to $2,000 down, and they can scroll the bar however they want. They can play with the different terms. So like 36, 39, 48. They can do short term if they wanted. The biggest thing with my site that's unique is I have multiple lenders for leasing loaded on there. So if you select 36 months, it might show you that Toyota is your best option. But if you select 39 months, the payment drops $40. It might tell you that the credit union was the better option for that term. So it's smart enough to know that and always quote the best payment within a couple dollars. And so that way, when they order it, they don't necessarily know, even though it does read at the bottom what bank we're going to use, but it lets me know that, hey, I'm going to send it to this bank. These are the terms that the customer selected. Here's their credit application, driver's license, and insurance. And then it opens like a chat. So I could chat with them through the system. And I can also request additional steps if the bank asks me. So it's all done through the website.
You know what's crazy, Cody, is that I've known you for many years now, and you were, I don't want to say this in a derogatory way because I'm just a salesperson too, but you're just a car salesman. You're a millionaire car salesman, but you're just a salesperson. You're not the dealership. You're not the dealer group, and you're not the manufacturer. And what blows me away is that none of these dealerships or dealer groups has replicated what you've done. And I think they're freaking crazy because you have an unfair legal advantage. Like you have an advantage because anybody that goes to the OEM website or the vast majority of Toyota dealerships websites or any other franchise websites for that matter, it's just basic. Nobody has done what you've done with these lenders. And so when they're looking at payments, even if they, you're making it easier the way that you're displaying it first, which I think is brilliant. But even more than that, even if somebody was on another Toyota site and they manipulated the payment wise, they wouldn't get to what you have because you have these other lenders built in that they don't have. Why do you think that these other people have never done this before? Sales, dealerships, manufacturers, why haven't they done what you've done?
I feel like some of it's just like they're scared of things that they've seen in the past. Like there's been lending companies that have come and gone that, screwed people. And so there's some of that. You also see most of these dealers, besides some of like the big markets like California, they already hate leasing, right? Why are they going to figure out what the next better option of leasing is if they barely are on the regular lease? And so that's
I want to put all the dealer principals and GMs on notice. So I don't like leasing. My people don't lease. Here you are, man. You have a multi-millionaire salesperson that sold 1,432 units last year. So again, I'm not the smartest man, but if I just put 1,432, divide that by 12, okay, you averaged 119 units every single month is what you average. What was your top month in 2024?
I did like 152 or something like in. Yeah.
Oh, do you realize that you and one assistant sold more than 50% of all franchise dealerships in all makes, models, and everything? The average, NADA says the average franchise dealership sells less than 100 cars a month. And if you sold 152 in 1 month, that month you sold literally about 54% more than the average dealership with 10 salespeople, 2 sales managers, a GSM, GM, an F&I, and maybe 1 or 2 BDC reps. It blows my mind what you've done and what you continue to do. And this the year before, 1,408. This year, 1,432. Damn. Oh, there she is. Misty.
Sean, I'm sorry. One time I don't have my phone.
It's okay. Listen, you're live on air. We are in the Millionaire Car Salesman podcast, and we are with Cody Carter. So do you know how many units Cody sold in 2023 by any chance?
No, tell me.
He sold 1,408 units. Okay. Guess what he sold last year in 2024?
What?
1,432 units, verified by Toyota OEM. Okay, so
yeah.
Do you understand that the average dealership, as per NADA, sells less than 100 cars? So his top month last year was 152 units. He has 1 assistant. So now, here's why I'm saying this. He's got his own website. He's got digital retailing, and he's got all this other stuff. You know what he doesn't have? He doesn't have Podium's AI, conversational AI. So I'm just saying this, don't feel pressured because I'm putting you in front of like tens of thousands of people on the air, but I'm just saying if this is Michael Jordan, give him a freaking pair of sneakers. Give him some sneakers. This salesperson with one assistant sold 54% more than the average franchise dealership. That's not just Toyota, that's all franchises, all manufacturers. So I'm just saying, do you think that maybe you guys might want to consider working with him to put your conversational AI, your chat, your rep, everything on there? Because as this man turns around and keeps crushing it, if I were you, I would turn around and have him the center of all your ads. I'm just saying.
Oh, yeah, that's incredible. I mean, just even the small assist that Jerry could give that one salesperson to boost that number, I can't even imagine what they'd be selling.
So watch this, Cody, because you're speaking to Misty. She's one of the executives at Podium. Question for you. How many total clients do you have? Tens of thousands at this point?
Yeah, tens of thousands just in California because I've been here 9 years and selling thousands of cars a month or a year. So there's probably 10,000 plus.
He's got 10,000. He's a salesperson with over 10,000 clients. And so he wants to break 200 units. Do you understand that, that Podium could be part of history? Podium could, with your technology, can assist this man to break 200 units in a month. And I think the most that Ali Reda, who broke the Guinness Book of World Records, ever did was 209. So honestly, can you imagine, do you understand what that would be for you, Misty? You're a marketer. Is that if Podium's technology is so powerful, it could take a salesperson that could literally sell, more than double what the average full-blown dealership is selling. So if Podium is that powerful to do that for someone like Cody Carter, can you imagine for the average dealership? Let's go.
It would be incredible.
Great,
That's
man.
awesome.
All right. So can I hook you guys up? Can I have, Cody reach out to you? All right,
That
Cody.
would be great.
All right, Cody, this is Misty. She is phenomenal. And I'm telling you, Podium's phenomenal. And again, Podium and Cody Carter, man, that's mind blowing. All right, Misty, I appreciate you. I'm going to talk to you after the show.
Thanks,
All right.
Sean. Thanks, Cody.
Bye-bye. Cody, you're welcome. Okay, listen to me. I'm just telling you right now, with all the additional money you're about to make, I would like a diamond encrusted bezel on my presidential. I'm just saying. Yeah, I mean, that's my Jerry Maguire fee, because if I get this woman to turn around and give you all those bells and whistles of automation and you sell another 50 net cars per month, I think there's a Rolex in it for me. Audience, let Cody know.
We'll set it up.
All right, Cody, I'm just having fun. Did you have fun with the show with me today?
Yeah, it was great. I like this platform. This is the first I've seen this one.
Oh, man. And what you don't know, Cody, is I'm going to be inviting you. We're spending big money in my office. We're actually creating like a beautiful Joe Rogan type podcast studio. Griffin, my producer, LA, Tiana, Charlie, and Perry, my whole creative team. They're like, listen, this show's blowing up so much. We're millions of downloads on the podcast. You got to step it up. You can't do the Zoom anymore. So we have this special stuff here, but I'm tired. So I'm working from my home office. But brother, in the next couple months, we're going to have a sick studio. So when we'll have you fly out to Dirty Jersey, you know what I'm saying, right by Philadelphia, you come chill with the Millionaire Car Salesman squad and be treated like the rock star you are. All right?
It's cool. Like, honestly, I have customers that'll say sometimes, like, I saw your podcast. I watched it. You did great. So it does get out there to a lot of people.
Oh my God, bro, listen, you digital dealer, NADA, all this stuff. I mean, Toyota, I got to get you, especially with the Portland region, by the way, no pressure in front of thousands of people here, but this is my first year with Portland. I would love to be able to do one of those webinars with you and the Portland region. Is that cool?
Yeah, I'm in. Just let me know.
All right. Last thing I'm going to ask you is this before my producer rips me off the air, right? Relax, Griff. I'm coming. All right. So, Cody, again, any last bit of advice based on you're an advanced car guy and you're seeing, people, and you're in one of the most competitive, selling markets, which is California. Any advice for people other than what we covered here? Anything that I missed because I talk a lot?
Well, I think the one thing we kind of briefly touched on, but we didn't go into it was with those plug-in cars, right? With the option to quick buy. My buddy calls it lease and dash, right? And basically I'm going to lease this car. I'm going to capture, for example, on RAV4 Primes, the $6,500 rebate that you wouldn't get on a purchase. So I'm going to lease it, and then when I get my first bill, I'm going to contact whichever lender I'm with, and I'm going to buy it out and basically capture that $6,500 and still go back to a purchase that they're more comfortable with. So I'm doing those all over the country where I've done that. So if your customer's not into lease, that's fine, but explain to them, hey, would you like to save $6,500 by making one extra step. And this, they'll be nervous about it. And I'm like, listen, I've done hundreds of them and I have no complaints. And I'll walk you through the steps how to do it. So that you'll sell more cars, you'll be more profitable because you're like, hey, you're right. I'm not going to give you the $2,000 discount that the guy over there is doing, but I'm giving you $6,500 in manufacturer money that you wouldn't have touched.
Brother, I think that's brilliant. And so what I like about that is I always like to say to people, be the disruptor, be Netflix, not Blockbuster, be Amazon, not Sears, be Uber, not the yellow cabs. And again, you're coloring outside the lines. Okay. It's completely ethical, legal, and brilliant, but it's not the same old. I think that we as automotive professionals just do the same thing. We get up, we take it up, we do the same presentation, and it's in and out, and it's easy, but it's not really going to move the needle. What you're doing is you understand the programs, you understand the leases, you understand the manufacturers, you understand the banks. And what you're doing is being creative to give your client something different. If the average prospect, as per JD Power, says that they're researching 9 to 11 dealerships and or websites, and everybody's saying the same thing, well, it costs about this, it costs about this. And here you are, the one person that's giving them something brilliant and different. I'm going with him. He seems like he knows what he's doing, and he seems like he's going to save me the most amount of money. So Cody, thank you so much for taking the time to sharing your incredible knowledge and experience with our audience in the Millionaire Car Salesman. And folks, you're not just the listeners on the podcast, but if you're not a member, because it's free, so it should be for you if it's free, right? Join the Millionaire Car Salesman Facebook group, because Cody is active in the group, and he gets a lot of messages, and even though he's busy selling cars like candy bars, he's still able to help you guys. Again, so thank you, Cody, for all that you do.
Yeah, no problem. Great talking to you.
We out. Griffin, let's go. Thank you so much for watching this week's episode. If you liked it, you're going to love Bradley On Demand. Bradley On Demand is the most advanced virtual training, tracking, testing, and certification platform. What does that mean? It's an online university. And if you like this information here, we have hundreds and hundreds of advanced videos, step by step, on how to help you sell more cars more often and more profitably. So sign up now.